First, I'd like to say thank you to iGaming Next for allowing me the opportunity to be up here to present what we believe is a unique perspective. Thank you to the team at Game On and Chris Grove for putting in the good word for us. I don't think I'd be allowed on stage if it wasn't for them. So I'd also like to thank you guys, the audience, for sticking around this late in the day for what I can confidently say is one of the best conferences in our industry, both in terms of the quality of content as well as the informative and engaging perspectives that we've heard from everyone that's been speaking before us. So, my name is Allan Stone. I'm the founder and CEO of Intelitics. We are an AI-powered marketing OS, driving LTV-based growth for operators. So when iGaming Next asked me to present on what's working in paid media, I asked myself, what value can I provide on a topic that is highly nuanced and complex without making everyone in here absolutely bored to tears and fall asleep? No guarantee that still won't happen, but I'm going to try and keep it informative and as actionable as possible. So zooming out, the overriding theme that we saw emerging in 2022 and into 2023 was, how can paid media be used to drive profitable user acquisition? What I'll be presenting today are the 4 key trends which we feel are universally applicable regardless of where you or your brand are with your paid media deployment today. So that's great, but why should you listen to me? I started driving player acquisition in the iGaming space back in 2005 as an affiliate, as part of a larger lead gen business in the consumer finance space. In 2011, I committed full-time to iGaming across online casino, sports betting, lottery, as well as social and sweepstakes gaming as our primary vertical. I helped launch a network called CasinoAffiliatePrograms.com, which at its peak had more than 3,500 active publishers, delivering 100 million monthly clicks and 1,000 to 4,000 FTDs a day. This is what led us to building the MVP of what has currently become Intelitics software. We're trying to solve complex and challenging technology and data-related problems related to optimizing campaigns at scale for performance. Since 2015, my team and I have been involved in the direct deployment of more than $100 million in user acquisition spend worldwide, delivering over $500 million in enterprise value. So before we get to the meat of this, I want to frame a little bit more context. The old saying goes, you have to be able to see the forest through the trees. It's crucially important to know where we are in the actual timing of things, what we're actually living through, the fact that we're actually living through 2 different renaissances. So the first, in the last year, not a single day has gone by where we haven't heard conversations from teams using marketing level 300 buzzwords like media mix modeling, multi-touch attribution, incrementality. This is the first renaissance I'm speaking of. Paid media and the broader digital landscape are all dealing with the consumer privacy and data legislation advancements, the deprecation of IDFA as well as cookies, and the compounding and shifting interest of consumer and business purchasing behavior based on the macroeconomic environment we find ourselves in. The historical duopoly of Facebook and Google is under siege from very savvy, well-funded competitors, with Amazon and Apple leading the charge and taking the majority of the big swings to dethrone the top 2. The second renaissance I'm speaking of is about our space. While we're still early in our evolution, online iGaming and OSB industry is being forced to reckon with the fact that while historically our industry has been somewhat immune to economic threats, the reality of the capital markets have all but dried up. A future, while still bright but wrought with challenge, we have to adopt a strategy which prioritizes profitability, but not for the sake of growth. In times of uncertainty and change, we have found that the best course of action is to go back to the basics, start again with the proper understanding and implementation of fundamental principles and best practices as a foundation to provide necessary guardrails and compass to keep you on course. Whether you're deploying tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or hundreds of millions of dollars of capital for growth, if you're even 1 degree off when you begin, the speed at which you can get off course will make your head spin. These are our 4 keys to achieving profitable user acquisition in 2023 and beyond, starting with adapt or die. What kind of marketer could I claim to be if I was not going to talk about the buzziest words in the current zeitgeist, AI? The reality is AI has been here. It's just reaching an escape velocity. Trying to outsmart the machines or brute force success has been a recipe for disaster. Just ask any of the guys who have to provide public listings on where they're spending money. Every piece of the paid media workflow today can be fully automated using AI, from strategy to copy to creative to campaign optimization. Today, these systems are the worst they will ever be. They're still garbage in, garbage out. The good news is there's still time. You can see how you could put these technologies to work for you today. They aren't actually a threat, they're tools. The reality is if you ignore them, though, they will eat you alive. To even have a chance to keep up, marketers must adapt a data-first mentality. All these advancements in technology assume an underlying foundation in data systems and workflows that this industry has all but ignored in its race to be first to market. This year, operators can and should commit to making the necessary shifts internally to create the foundation for future success. These are the table stakes: dynamic campaign segmentation, real-time zero and first-party data feedback loops, deep linking and personalization. This leads me to my first shameless plug. At the end of the day, I paid to be up here, so I've got to talk about it. Data-led LTV-based growth. The land grab is over. With the industry trend shifting past to profitability, it has become mission critical to understand and as close to real time as the possible future value of each player acquisition. Most companies today base their growth and marketing decisions on models and assumptions running on spreadsheets that are at worst missing incorrect data or completely off, and at best opaque. The irony is, due to a lack of R&D resources and or prioritization, operators are oftentimes sitting on untapped treasure troves of data, but they cannot analyze and then action that data to make informed, time-sensitive decisions that ultimately drive profitability and unlock growth. That's the last of my shameless plugs. Key number 2, video is only getting bigger. The Twitch Hydra. This time last year, everyone was talking about Twitch streamers, how to make money on using Twitch streamers to drive acquisition, and Twitch said, thank you very much, but no thanks. What this actually did, and we call it a Hydra because at the end of the day, you guys just heard one particular segment, which is TikTok. It essentially created opportunity for a three-headed Hydra. So we now have competition between YouTube Shorts, Reels, and TikTok. So YouTube recently announced the Shorts ads platform. It's still very early days, but it's based off of the Google ecosystem. So being able to pull in learnings from paid search and display will create efficiencies at scale that most other platforms can't claim. Reels benefits from the fact that it's running on the Meta Ads Manager, so targeting and optimization are second to none. And with TikTok, while gambling advertising isn't yet officially available, when it does become available, TikTok has the most available video ad formats, but the platform is still improving. This is another threat to the duopoly, but we need to keep an eye on the legislators. As they mentioned before, I could get off stage and TikTok could be taken off the table. CTV advertising is primed for exponential growth. Streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, etc., are all facing stiff competition and weakened subscriber growth as the economy softens. Advertising revenue is now going to become mission critical to their business. Advertisers are able to target much more effectively on CTV for the streaming provider, the same reasons that Apple benefited from the deprecation of cookies and IDFA. They own the operating system that the consumer is subscribed to, and therefore, by default, consumers are opted in to allow advertisers to use their data for advertising purposes, as this also benefits the consumer's ability to receive and targeted content and recommendations on what to engage with. Key players such as Hulu and Roku are making big investments in their ad platforms, which are largely geared towards advertisers that are looking to test, optimize, and scale based on KPIs that affect their bottom line, not just reach and frequency. All major CTV providers will release some version of a pixel this year, which will make conversion tracking and optimization broadly accessible. Consumer appetite to consume ads versus paying outright for services generally correlates to the conditions of the economy. A weaker economy, less willingness to pay outright. Key number 3. The return of performance-based partner programs. This is one perspective we feel is very unique. Partner programs, or as everyone here likes to call them, affiliate programs. For the most part, operators actually have treated these partnerships as something completely separate from paid media. We feel like this is a very big mistake. As much talk as there is about affiliates and their performance, relatively speaking, they are a highly underserved, low-risk solution for gaps in data, increased off-site engagement, and a growing share of wallet post-acquisition. Many publishers have built their entire business creating audience and communities that trust them. Operators that will win here will view these partnerships as far more than transactional in nature. With the right time and energy, they can be genuinely accretive. And the answer is not for operators to try and buy or to try and build this themselves. There will always be an inherent mistrust from consumers when the entity trying to take their money for entertainment is also telling them how to spend that money. There is an ocean of non-endemic publishers waiting for operators to adopt the right stack and product offering to enable exponential growth. These partners have been watching and testing, and in some cases delivering small successes, but the feedback is universal. iGaming and sports betting programs are missing all of the key elements required to even start delivering meaningful traffic. This has led to the rise of the now present media partnerships that we've seen between larger affiliate groups and traditional properties. But these still pale in comparison to the partners, to the volume of tier 2 and 3 partners and traffic sources which command valuable niche audiences that are largely untapped. There was a really great panel earlier about influencers. So, micro-influencers, engagement versus impressions, building meaningful relationships with long-term customers. The trend we see here is a widening gap between growing media personalities, the likes of Pat McAfee, Jake Paul, and micro-influencers. There will be a hollowing out of the middle ground. Dollars will best be spent with smaller influencers tied directly to performance metrics that have loyal, avid followings. But larger brand reach partnerships that are less directly tied to performance, but whose dollars should and still come with some expectations of traceable return. Both of these require deep understanding and a commitment to data and technology to have any chance of any meaningful success. Key number 4. This one is, I think, the most important, and that is personalization and user experience that will create brand affinity and loyalty, resulting in improved campaign performance. This is the biggest miss that operators have today. In a commoditized market, commoditized product offering means players will choose the brand that makes it as easy as possible to become a consumer. Why is it still harder today to create a new betting account than it is to open a new bank account? Operators have been focused on getting to market and trying to improve core product features when it takes basically a PhD to create a player account. If you haven't talked to Jay and the team at Betting Heroes, they've got some great insights from the in-person activations. Think about that though. One of the biggest drivers of signups for digital product is a business built completely around helping consumers in person sign up for that product. That's a problem, and that is the single largest opportunity for growth. Removing friction from the registration and purchase funnel has the added benefit of not only improving the scale and efficiency of campaigns, but will also create a level of trust that results in brand loyalty and ultimately improved player values and ROI. Operators need to challenge product platform managers to improve on-page and off-page conversion optimization. This sounds a lot like the previous point, and it should. It's that important. 95% of mobile clicks will bounce if the start render of a landing page is longer than 2 seconds from ad click. Consistent promotional messaging throughout the user journey to first purchase is critical and still does not exist. Is there a plan to re-engage users that abandoned during the sign-up and first deposit process and the manner in which they're engaging with your product? Why are we still using email to drive users back into the funnel from mobile when they could engage with SMS and push, which are orders of magnitude more engaging? You have to meet the consumer where they're engaging with your product. How do you handle deposit rejections? Are you prompting high success alternatives? How is deep linking to specific bets still not best practice? Personalization isn't just a buzzword. It's paramount in today's digital landscape. Leveraging zero-party data from your customers and potential prospects via micro-surveys and usage data, both to personalize the messaging and content and specific products you put in front of the consumer based on these insights, create substantial gains in both scale and efficiency of your marketing. The operators that commit to this and get it right will have created a competitive advantage that is not easily replicated. It takes time and commitment to constant iteration. The users are used to personalization. Every other app on their phone personalizes their experience. The betting apps are the only ones that have all but ignored this to this point. I know I'm going pretty fast here because we were behind time, so I'm trying to get everybody caught back up. It seems like I've talked for what seems an eternity, and I promise it will all be over soon. For those of you who are just waking back up or walking in for the next panel, if I could distill everything that I just said down to 4 critical takeaways, it would be this. Data-led LTV-based growth is the answer to keeping up with the step change in AI and paid media landscape. Video is the future. It's still coming into focus, but it already looks really good. Performance-based partner programs, when done right, are a low-risk cheat code. And user experience personalization offer an escape from the race to the bottom in a crowded, commoditized product environment. So with that, I have 4 minutes left. I wanted to leave some time for Q&A because, again, very in-depth, very complex topic, so I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to ask some questions if they have any. If not, it's okay because we're getting back on track. Get everybody out of here. Cool. Thank you again, everyone. Again, my name is Allan Stone. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Intelitics. Thank you.